chat, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday. I'm really excited to do this flight. Single pot still is one of my favorites. Let me know what you guys have in the glass. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, do all that fun stuff that YouTube likes us to do. First in here, Christine Vasco, Slaunchy y'all, lurking while doing chores. Oh my gosh, head to my house next. I've avoided chores all weekend. Mr. Mom 310, cheers from Northeast Oklahoma. I've got a pour of Teeling small batch, catching some air, revisiting this bottle. Didn't go over too well the two previous pours. You know, I like that one. Sometimes I do throw like an ice cube or just a little bit of water in there just to kind of cut the heat of it. I do like it though, but I like a sweeter. I like a rum finish. Liz B, cheers. I'm sipping on a 1 ounce sample pour of Redbreast 27 batch 1. Holy crapoli, that is a really good pour to start with. I don't think you could get much better than batch 1. Cheers, Kathy Huey. Cheers from Nash, Vegas. Sipping on some Bushmills Prohibition. I like that one. That is a great bottle for under $30. Cheers, Mike Meyer. It is good to see you. Mr. Andrew Butler. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Cheers, Tater Dom. Cheers, Stacy and everybody. It is good to see you. Yes, Amy Ober and Liz is setting the bar high with Redbreast 27 and batch 1, no less. I mean, that batch 1, honestly, you talk to some hardcore Irish people, batch 1's the best one. Like leaps and bounds, best one. Get a little water. It's still kind of hot here. And I'm up in the new studio, which is on 2nd floor, and it gets kind of hot. So hopefully you can't hear my fan over in the corner. Hey, Marty. Cheers and happy Sunday. Cheers to you too, sir. Mr. Whiskey Nose. Cheers, Sugar Kitty. It's good to see you as always. We have Peter White. Cheers to you, Peter White. Amy, Single Pot Still is my favorite. Which one should I choose for my first glass? You have a lot of good ones, so I'm kind of curious to see which one you're going to pick. Cheers, Bourbon Hunter Lee. It's good to see you, Lee. Sure I didn't miss anybody here. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Hey, cheers, Josh Fritz. Good evening. 4-Leaf Whiskey and Chat. It's good to see you, Josh. Did YouTube remove that like button? I can't find it. Ha, ha, ha. I hope you're kidding because I am not technology savvy at all. It's good to see you, Dustin. I need to get your flight out to you. I finally did get more bottles and it took me forever to freaking order those. We've had so much going on at the house. Have not decided on the first pour. Maybe it should be one of the Peter White samples. Peter's got some good Irish whiskey. Oh, you're legit not kidding. Well, that stinks. Yeah, I have no idea why it's not working. Oh, let me check here. Might be a YouTube thing. It might be one of those things I really cannot do anything about. Yeah, I got the like on mine when I go my other account. So I'm hoping it's just you, Dustin. Hey, David Bass. Cheers to you. Yeah, it works for Sugar Kitty. He is the best mod. Might be the new chat stuff. Yeah. Oh, thank you guys. Oh, you're on desktop. Yeah, it could be a desktop thing. It could be a desktop thing. All right. So, before we get into any of the flight, because this honestly takes priority over all the whiskey, make sure you got something poured in your glass. I do want to say, for those of you who have not heard, we did lose a member of the Whiskey Tube community. For those of you who tuned into the Pub Styles, 5th quarter tailgate, unfortunately, has passed away. So please, we raise a parting glass to Scott, 5th quarter tailgate. He will be missed big time in all the Pub Style chats. He was a supporter of my channel. He's a supporter of everyone's channel. So if you would raise a glass, parting glass to Scott. All right. So we're going to get into this. So I had this idea. I've gotten quite a few new single pot still whiskeys. Everybody knows, Redbreast, Spots, Powers, Middleton. Those were the pot stills. There was for a very long time, you couldn't get a pot still whiskey unless it came out of Middleton. And today, that is no longer the option. There's a lot of other single pot still whiskeys out there. So I kind of wanted to introduce you to some of the other brands of single pot still whiskey that's out there. And let's compare it. I poured a generous amount of Redbreast 12. Actually, the last of my bottle. And I got a little mini backup in case I run out. And we'll kind of just compare them side by side to Redbreast 12. Redbreast 12 is kind of my go-to. I go to the pub. Usually the selection ain't that great, but everybody usually has, at least the pubs I go to, always usually have a Redbreast 12. So that's what we're going to do. Now, the mash bills might be a bit different, but I see a few more people bopped in here. Yes, make sure you tune in. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. Make sure you tune in to Livewire tonight. They're going to have a tribute to Scott from Fifth Quarter Tailgate. So make sure everybody tunes into that. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, cheers, Shredward. It is good to see you. There is Mr. Slapshots Roadhouse, Brian. All you guys with channels too, make sure that you put your channel links in here. Amy, Amy's getting bougie. Want to pick up the new Boan single pot still. Amy, I do as well, but I know that I'm not going to be able to get one. I'm going to want to buy all three. And that would be a big problem because I'm supposed to be buying whiskey when I'm over there and I won't have any money left. So for those of you who don't know, Boan actually just released 3 single pot still whiskeys. One is finished in PX, one is finished in Marsala, and one, Amy, let me know if I'm wrong, is finished. I think the last one was Madeira. And they're all under $100. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. Yeah, make sure everybody tunes into that tonight. I definitely will be there as well. Hey, Hanging AZ, how are you now? Not everyone here is a mod, so we better do the links. Yeah, I thought I made everybody with a channel a mod, but I may not have. And I'm going to have to ditch my makeshift mouse pad here because it's actually giving me more fits than helping. Which is, if you really want to get into single pot still whiskey, do a deep dive into it. Best book ever for single pot still whiskey. This is A Glass Apart, Irish single pot still whiskey, and it was written by historian Fanon O'Connor. Great book if you really want to nerd out on single pot still whiskey. Yes, I think that's right. I'm going for the PX. That's the one I would have picked as well. The tasting notes just sounded really, really good. I realize I have too many closed Irish bottles. Need to open a couple of them. Yeah, that never happens in my house. My husband will be the first one, and he will give me endless crap about it. The second UPS drops that bottle off, within 20 minutes, that sucker's open. If it's a work day, it's within 20 minutes of like the work day being ended that I've got it open. So it's a running joke in our house. All right. So the first one we are going to try is actually one that has been out for a little bit. Let me know if you guys have had this. This is a Drumshambo single pot still whiskey. And I don't know if my camera is going to operate here. I'm still tinkering with lighting. I have new lighting here, and I actually spent the entire weekend putting up these blackout curtains. They're not really curtains. They're just kind of a nylon screen. And if you look at the outside of the house, it's silver. So I'm waiting for the neighbors to think we're like doing some shady activities in the house because the whole windows are just blocked off now. But at least I don't get complete sunlight here. So Drumshambo is 43%. Now this is a little different than the Middleton. Middleton only uses barley in their mash bill. They use malted barley, they use unmalted barley. This one has some barra oats in it. 3% of the mash bill is barra oats. You wouldn't think that would make a big difference, but it actually does. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. He is the best. Dropping links like it's hot. Thank you. It's taking 45 minutes to open a bottle. Yeah, they don't last that long in my house. Well, unless it's a work day, like you said. Then I wait till 5, but within 20 minutes after 5 o'clock, a sucker's open. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. Watching Slapshots Roadhouse Wood is very relaxing. I love those streams, man. I love to just kick those on a Saturday and just lurk in the background and watch those. Those are so much fun. All right, so all of the whiskey that's made in Milton, they don't use other ingredients. They use malted barley and unmalted barley. Now, the current regulation for single pot still whiskey, you can have up to 5% of another grain in the components. They choose not to do that. The pot stills, with the exception of the Jameson single pot still, are ex-bourbon and a combination of ex-bourbon and or Oloroso sherry. Redbreast is, I believe, 80-20 sherry to bourbon, and it is more malted to unmalted barley. That's what gives it, a little bit richer, more cereal flavor to it. This one from Drumshambo from the Shed is more ex-bourbon. It does have some sherry, and then they added those 3% of the Barra oats. Now, much lighter color than the Redbreast. I would love to tell you that's natural, but unfortunately, IDL does use artificial color. Not 100% sure which ones they use the artificial coloring on. Jameson, I can tell you 100% they do. That is not natural. Hey, John Krantz, cheers to you. All right. So let's try the Drumshambo. Let me know if anyone has ever had the Drumshambo single pot still and what you thought of it. So you can pick up that bourbon cask on the nose big time. We've got a lot more tropical notes to this one. Almost smells like juicy fruit gum. It's all like tropical fruit, a little grapefruit, citrus, vanilla. Yeah, the palate you get those oats. Oats really make an impact with Irish whiskey on the palate. Real creamy. It adds such a nice creamy mouthfeel to it. And on the palate, I actually get a little bit of kind of like a coconut, like toasted coconut notes. This would have been a really good whiskey for this past week. I know a lot of you guys where you're located, it was freaking sweltering. I was very jealous of Christine's pool. I was like this close to splurging on a blow-up pool from Amazon this week. It was just a little bit ridiculous. It was so hot, I didn't even bother like cashing in my pool favors with a friend of mine that lives down the street and has a community pool. It was like even too hot to go in the pool. It was just nuts. Hey, Jeffrey Jankowitz. Hey, everyone. First time watching live. Welcome. First time you're drinking Powers John's Lane. Not very experienced in Irish, but looking to broaden your horizons. Powers John's Lane is an outstanding Irish whiskey to start with. Great, great choice. And thank you for joining us. Thank you. Mr. Derek Whiting. Cheers to you, Derek. It is good to see you. It's been a while since we've had Drumshambo. I'm going to pour a small bit to remind myself what it tastes like. It's not one, it's one I kind of forget that I have. The finish isn't exceptionally long on it. It is a little bit higher ABV than your Redbreast. It's got a freaking cool bottle, guys. It's got a little jackalope on it. It's got the little metal thing. So that's a really cool little bottle. A little bit shorter finish, I said, but if you're wanting something, not quite as heavy as Redbreast, it's a nice departure. All right. So one of the bottles, I swear, if I run across it in Ireland, I'm coming back with it, is one of the redacted bottles, Sugar Kitty. Just so we can have a stream with the actual redacted whiskey. Your sister is going to London next week and cannot find anywhere outside of Ireland. Yeah, it's only sold in Ireland. Hey, there he is. Whiskey Uncensored. Cheers, Stacey, and other Irish aficionados. Cheers, Ben. Turds, pours, and the park pool has been a lifesaver. I used to have one at my other house, And it was swanky for a blow up pool. It had it was big. And then it had 4 little cushions in the corner of the blow up pool, and you blew up the individual cushions. So you had your own little blown up seat. It was a swanky blow up pool, and I love that thing. And it got kind of a hole somewhere in it. So we just left it for the neighbor kids. And kind of not going to lie, sorry, Sean, I've regretted leaving that for your children because I miss that freaking pool, something awful. The only drum chambo I've tried is the 2021 Galanta, the edition single malt. That one is here. I have not had that one yet. We kind of got inundated with so much Irish whiskey. I just haven't had a chance to buy it yet. Oh, nice and light, good summer whiskey for sure. Yeah, I think this drum chambo is a good summer whiskey. Yeah, Blue Spot. Let me tell you, Jeffrey, you are off to one heck of a start with your Irish whiskey. You have Blue Spot and John's Lane. Those are 2 great Irish whiskeys. The Redacted Inception Stream. Yeah, they have 2 releases so far. Might have to get them both. One's a Killowen. The other is a Cooley single grain. Hey, cheers, Bourbon School. Thank you for dropping in today and joining us. Or drinking some single pot still Irish whiskey. Hey, cheers, Mike Stahl. It is good to see you. Since we are seeing Mike Stahl, one of my mods, go ahead and drop the link to Livewire stream tonight, because that's an important one. So we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to tune into that one. So the difference between this drum chambo and the Redbreast 12, drum chambo is lighter. Lot more tropical notes, almost like there's much more creamy mouthfeel. The one thing I don't think that this has, it's a little bit lacking, is that single pot still spice. That baking spice that you associate with single pot still Irish whiskey doesn't, the Barra oats kind of tone that down. So you don't have that spicy finish to this. Probably the only negative I could say about that one at all. All right. Make sure this is. I didn't get a chance to pour all of them, but yeah, that's that one. Which I should pour this one because it's going to need time to breathe. I'll pour when we get the next one. All right. So the next one we are drinking is Skellig 618 Single Pot Still Irish Whiskey. This is a brand new one to the US. It's been in Ireland for a while. This is 43. Yes, also 43% ABV. And I did take some notes on this one because I wanted to make sure I give you guys the right information. I'm not a wizard. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm just a woman who forgets her phone when she walks in the next room. So took notes. This one, I'm really excited about this one. I'm excited about Skellig 618's coming into the States now. I've also got their small batch PX finish. Great whiskey for $40. I'd put that on par with Power's 3 Swallows. I think I could be wrong. I think they're presently in Ohio. I don't know that they're outside of Ohio yet. They came into Ohio as kind of their first state that they were toying into. So if you live near Ohio, have friends near Ohio, you can get both of these. But this one is an ex-bourbon, ex-peated casks, and XPX sherry cask. So this has also been, I don't think they distilled this. I think this is sourced, and they keep it and mature it next to the ocean. Their distillery is right next to the ocean. So you're getting all that ocean breeze on this whiskey. So kind of curious to see. It has been a while since I've hit that bottle. We actually used it for a tasting event that I had here. Make sure. Thank you, Sugar Kitty. Ooh, I like that Skellig. Yeah, me too. Me too. Whiskey wizard. No. Just a woman that walks around her house asking her husband, can you call my phone? I can't find it. I lose my phone at least twice a day. So on the nose, you get that PX big time. I also get, I'm not really getting smoke, but it is a little briny. It is a little briny in the nose. It's real sugary and sweet and kind of like oranges, a little bit of lemon, but I'm not really getting that peat on the nose. Yeah, it's on the palate, but it's just a little. It really is just a little. Hey, cheers, Trev. It is good to see you. We are drinking some Single Pot Still Irish whiskey, and we're having some Skellig 618. This is a newer one. The thing I do like about this one, it is something different. It is something a little different. You know, the other PX, obviously Redbreast PX, 150 a bottle. This one I think was only, and Christine, you keep me honest here. I think that one was 65, 69 a bottle. It wasn't crazy expensive, and I'm sure it is a bit younger, but it's just a little different. The peat, honestly, it does not drink like peated smoke at all. It's just, it kind of reminds you of like a two stacks, the 2% peat that's in there. So it's just, I mean, it's a little smoky, but it more provides like some depth to it. A little spice. This one does have that single pot still spice. This one that it was missing in the drum shambo. This one has that single pot still spice to it. They're all natural coloring, non-chill filtered. I love this distillery. The distillery itself is across from the Skellig Michael Islands, the Skellig Islands in Ireland. And they've kind of embraced that and embraced the maritime history of the area. So their bottles have they've actually got the Skellig Islands on them. They've got, the maritime, they've got the Big Dipper there with the North Star. They also, and they fully admit, the color scheme and everything. They know Star Wars was filmed right there, so they've completely embraced that. And 618 is named for the 618 steps that were hand carved by the monks from the base of the ocean up to the monastery on Skellig 618. So it's pretty cool. That's okay, Derek. Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it. I'm drinking an old fashioned because the one I made Mrs. Ranch she hated. So now that's mine, and I made her a better one. I made my husband old fashions yesterday, and I think he liked the Woodford Reserve more than the freaking Bardstown Origin, which I used Penelope barrel proof. That was not a good old fashioned. It just did not really work. Not really. You need to find this Skellig when we're in a pub over there. Amy, I think if you go anywhere, Ring of Kerry, they're probably going to have it because it's in that area. Aside from that, I don't know. You might, but that definitely they'll have it over there since they're on the Ring of Kerry. All right. Oh, let's see which one we're going to open next. Yeah, I'll go with I'll save the big one for last. I'll save that. Well, next to last. All right. So this one, and I'm going to have to pour this and let this sit just for a second because this has not been opened since it walked in the door. This is the Lakeview Single Estate Single Pot Still that I spilled a lot of that. This one is from Wayward Irish Spirits. So the people behind one of my favorites, The Liberator. This is the Lakeview Single Estate. So this one is a bit up in price because this one is a grain to glass bottle. Um, let's see. It's honestly amazing how much whiskey changes the old fashioned. Good, neat whiskey doesn't always make a good cocktails. Yeah, I completely agree. Some things just are born for cocktails, and that Woodford was a really good one in the cocktail. That was actually that one in the Bardstown I did like as well. But that Penelope Barrel Proof, I would have thought a cask strength bourbon would have worked. Not that one. It just didn't work. Did not work in an old fashioned. I do need to make. I haven't made one in a while. I need to make a Redbreast cask strength old fashioned. That does make a good one. That does. Mike sucks harder than most. Oh, that looks as tough to pour as the Sexton. It kind of is. It ain't easy. I've not cracked this. This is actually, so batch 3 is in Ohio. This is the inaugural batch. This is batch 1. But I didn't get to store it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to open this eventually. So I'm just going to open it. What is in everyone's glass? Been watching the College World Series. I swear college games take hours longer than they should. I completely agree with you, Trev. My cousin was a relief pitcher for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and we went to many, many games, and they seemed to freaking take forever. He never got to the World Series, though. But having an old-fashioned with Wild Turkey 101 rye, not bad at all. I love 101 rye. That's one of my go-tos. That is one of my go-tos. Only had a sample of that Lakeview. It was very enjoyable. I really like this one. And this is a 3-year-old whiskey, which is crazy. I always make my old fashions with a rye instead of a bourbon. I need to try that. I've tried it with Irish, and I have not tried rye, which is crazy because I like rye. One of the best old fashions I've made is with bottom shelf ancient age. Buffalo Trace makes a good old fashioned too. We had a whole handle of Buffalo Trace. I'm in Ohio. We get it. And it worked well. It really did. All right. So this is another one I had to take notes on because this is a crazy one. So this one is grain to glass. Sir Maurice O'Connell and Wayward Irish grew the grain. They do not have a distillery on site. They took the grain to Great Northern. You got to pay extra if you want to distill only your own grain and ensure only your grain makes it into that glass. You have to pay extra for that, and they did. So this one is 3 months ex-bourbon aged, 40 months in an ex-premier Grand Cru Bordeaux cask. Can't read my own writing. So 40 months in an ex-premier Grand Cru Bordeaux cask. 10% of that was then finished in a peated cask for 3 months. This has been bottled at 46% ABV. I have bottle 149. This was the inaugural batch. And you can still find some of these in Ireland. You can, if you're in Ohio, you can still find some of these on the shelf. You'll get batch 3, but it's essentially the same whiskey. I did talk to Morris when he was in Ohio, and he said that is the same whiskey. Rye and orange go very well together. I'm going to have to try it. I really am. See, Trev, you're thinking what I am. When you start experimenting with different bitters, we have black walnut bitters. I didn't care for that. I really didn't. The orange, and then we actually have a bitter that's called, that was from the Dead Rabbit, the pub in New York City that they made for a while, called Orinoco bitters. And they're like Angostura bitters, but they just have a little more spice to them. And that made a hell of an old fashioned. I was really sorry to see that one go. Yellow top Angostura bitters and rye. I'm going to have to try that. You get everything in Ohio these days. We do now. We do. I'm really excited that the state has actually listened. For those of you who live near Ohio, actually, the Dublin Irish Festival is coming up. And at the Dublin Irish Festival, they are going to be having a tasting event on that Saturday. Tickets are available right now. Dublin Irish Festival is the second biggest Irish festival in the country. I'll be working here the whole weekend. And they are having a tasting event with, I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm not even going to try it, but it's the French Middleton release. that was finished in French virgin oak casks. And the retail price on those bottles was $5,000. Very small, limited release. And for $350, you can sit down and have a pour of that. And I think you get like 4 Waterford Crystal Rocks glasses with it. But I would love to do it. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm going to try. If not, I will be, huddled outside the curtain, just watching everybody drink it. Yeah, black walnut bitters are good in Manhattan, which I'm pretty sure is why we have them. That and my husband likes freaking walnuts. But Angostura orange bitters and bullet rye. See, that sounds good. I'm going to be freaking making some old fashions after this. That sounds really good. You guys are drinking some good stuff. I'm a bit schlammered considering this game started at 1 and just ended at 5:15. Yeah, those college games freaking last forever. They do. So this one, you do get a little of the smoke on the nose, but you get a whole lot of cherries. That is crazy. That is crazy. Nice color. It is actually comparable to the Redbreast. This is the first one that's been actually kind of dark. Now, this one does retail for quite a bit more. I believe it's around 120, 125. Part of that is because it is a grain to glass. It is a small batch. It's grain to glass. It's an independent Irish distiller. So you're paying to support the little guy. So a hint of cherry, or a hint of smoke, cherries, honey. The cherries don't, it's funny. It's got a lot of cherries on the nose. It doesn't really translate over to the palate. The palate, the smoke comes through a little bit more, and the honey, and you're getting that pot still baking spices coming through big time. That being said, if you had a pour of this whiskey in front of you and somebody told you it was only 3 years old, there's no way I'd believe it. Well above 3 years. Got a little black pepper. It's like a little chocolate. Oh, this is really, really good. Christine, I know you've had this one. You said you really enjoyed it. I don't know what notes you got on it. Chocolate bitter old fashioned. That does sound good. You guys are making me hungry for an old fashioned. Got some Aztec chocolate bitters I'm going to experiment with. That would be, the chocolate bitters with like the orange slice, that would be freaking good. That would be good. Ooh, that would be good. Maybe with like something like the Sagamore Rye, the VDN cask, because I get orange creamsicle notes on that one. So of the 3 I tried so far, I'm going to tell you, this is the first one that is beefy enough that I would say this stands up to a Redbreast 12. Yeah, I'm getting the almond a lot more on that now. But this one does stand up to it. Going back to that, coming back. More spice, more honey. The smoke's coming through just a little bit more. And it's not, he didn't add a whole lot of smoke. He just said when he made it, it just seems like it was missing something. It was just missing some depth. I really like it. It's not so much that someone who doesn't enjoy peat will hate it. It's not that much at all. Again, it's comparable to kind of like a 2 stacks cast strength. Okay, that's been the first one I want to drink the whole freaking thing. Might keep that close by. All right, so I'll pour the next one here. This is the one that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm really excited about this one. This one is currently on a boat on its way over to the US as we speak. This is the brand new, released in May of this year, This is the Clonakilty Single Pot Still Irish whiskey. And oh, fudge. No, camera's hating me. My camera does not like white labels. So this one is 46% ABV. So this one is a little different too. So the last one from Wayward Irish, the Lakeview Estate, that one was also just barley, malted barley, unmalted barley. This one is the same. It's the cast finishing where this one is a little bit different. The other thing is, this one is going to be retailing. This is like 50 euros. So the retail price is going to be probably under 60 bucks, which is kind of crazy for a single pot still whiskey. So let me clear my palate since that last one had a little bit of peat. Yeah, just a subtle smoke, like an accent to the taste. Yeah. Cheers, Pizza Warlord. So freaking looking forward to this pot still. So we had the Lakeview Single Estate. This one, oh shucks, big honkin' freaking bottle is available in the US. 46% ABV. I have a dream to go to the Clonakilty Distillery and have a dram right by the ocean. Christine, if you ever do, reach out to me and I will hook you up with Clonakilty. I've been fortunate to make a couple contacts at Clonakilty. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Although you probably did too. You met Hopper. He's a super cool guy. Love the Clonakilty Imperial Stout finish. I do as well. I think it's really, really good. And honestly, those Clonakilty single barrels, what a great buy. Cast strength Irish whiskey, less than 100 bucks. Hey, cheers, Donald Rance. It's good to see you. Hopper gave me his card at Info Distillery. I figured you met Hopper. I figured you did. It's a cool place. Hey, cheers, Mr. Jiggs. All right. So we're going to get into this Clonakilty, the single pot still Irish whiskey, just released in May. So this one is 46% ABV. Yes, 46% ABV. This one was, they distilled themselves. This is one of their first releases where it's actually their whiskey. They did not source this. This is 5 years old. This is ex-bourbon, ex-oloroso, and Amontillado sherry finish. Amontillado is kind of new on the scene. Irish whiskey. There's a couple that have been finished in Amontillado casks. W. O'Connell has done a couple in Amontillado casks. Holy chocolate bar, Batman. This is like chocolate covered apples. Whole lot of milk chocolate. Milk chocolate and vanilla. I don't know if it's getting apple or pear. I'm kind of leaning more towards like an apple. But not like a red delicious, more like a baking apple that isn't quite as juicy. Getting a little bit of kind of a citrus. Just a little bit. And cheers, Josh Fritz. Just bottle killed a Redbreast Tawny Port edition last night. So good. I've got one behind me. It's about halfway there. Cheers, William Hall. It's good to see you. Glendalough Single Pot Still is your favorite release. The use of virgin Irish oak really sealed the deal for me. I do like the Glendalough as well. I don't have that one anymore. I drank it all. Their double barrel is really good too. Just for a budget pour. If you like the virgin oak, I did a recent video on the Redbreast Missouri Oak. That one is an outstanding bottle of whiskey. Absolutely love it. Don't love the price. Don't love the price on that one. It's not worth $200. I don't know what they're thinking. It's good. It's not $200 good. Don't know if you hear the dogs. We're dog sitting my brother's little schnauzer right now. And our little Frenchie is obsessed with her, like obsessed, and chases her every waking moment of the day. All right. This one drinks so far above that $50 price point. The nose, I got more apple and chocolate. The palate, I'm getting more pear. Pear, vanilla, orange, lemon, spice at the finish. That is freaking delicious. When this does hit the States, which I do believe this is coming to Ohio, yeah, I'm going to grab another one of these. Price cannot be beat. It drinks well above its price point of like, I think it's 50, 60 bucks. That's a really good whiskey. Yeah, Middleton has lost the plot in terms of pricing. Yeah, I just don't understand how they can justify the Kentucky Oak at 120, but the Missouri Oak at 200. It would have to be leaps and bounds over the PX at 150, and it's not for me. I've been into whiskey for about 5 years now and still can't pick out all the details on the nose and palate. You know, Amy, honestly, it's a whole lot of fun practice. It also is just, honestly, if you sit me down in front of a fresh glass of whiskey, my first pour of the day, I'm not going to pick everything out. It takes me a couple pours in before I can really you have to warm up your palate too, I think. So it's usually by this far, yeah, I can get all those. And honestly, that chocolate comes through big time on the nose on this. I mean, the second I picked up the glass, it was like melted chocolate. Yeah, it's like melted milk chocolate in a glass. Pizza Warlord has it. There's a little bug in here. Buddy just sent me a Missouri Oak. Looking forward to trying it. You're going to really like it. It's a very, very good whiskey. Middleton has kind of been lackluster with some of their releases of late. That one, beautiful whiskey. It really is a beautiful whiskey. It's the price that I don't like, but the whiskey itself is very, very well done. I do really, really like it. I practice plenty. I just can't do it there. Well, the fun is in the practice. Cheers, Eric. I'm on call this weekend and seeing patients. Cheers. Cheers to you, sir. It was good to see you, Eric. That was supposed to be a laugh. Was that a butt? I don't know what that is. Yeah, this is another one's going to be hard to finish, but. So we got one more. And it's kind of not fair because the proof on this one, it steps. Well, let me go back to this Redbreast for a second. Let me tell you, these are pretty comparable. They really are. And the fact this one is probably going to be a little bit cheaper than Redbreast 12. Yeah, I got that Clonakilty, got it a few weeks ago, and I've just been, forgot I had it for a minute because I was moving everything and didn't open it until here recently. I'm going to do a full review on this one since it is going to be hitting the US very soon. But that one, I really like that. I'll be buying another bottle of that one. We just overpaid for the Missouri Oak. It is amazing. Yeah. Pizza Warlord. Love the Kentucky Oak. Yeah, it just wasn't quite there. I compared it to a Hinch Doublewood that I have that's 5 years old. That's $35. I didn't see enough of a difference. That Missouri Oak is very good. I wish Kentucky Oak would have been that because that one is very, very good. it's outstanding. Are there certain Irish whiskey that are like bourbon in terms of allocated and prices market up stupidity? Yeah. So our next pour is going to be one of them that usually does get some stupidity. They're not allocated in the sense that like bourbon's allocated. There are some that are as popular as bourbon here. I could tell you Blue Spot flies off the shelves as soon as it hits shelves here, just like bourbon does, because it's universal. Bourbon drinkers really enjoy it as well. Gold Spot's another one because it's a limited release. That sucker, I mean, I went to 3 different stores over probably 100 miles and found one bottle. And I let my friend have it because I'd already bought one. A lot of us will buy from Ireland because we don't want to deal with the chaos here when it comes. The ones that tend to go, Ecklandville just had a release. It was their very first distilled whiskey, grain to glass. And that one, I mean, even at $270, I think it was $300, it flew off the shelf. I think it sold out within minutes or within an hour. I think it was within an hour. I know Amy got one. So things like that, things like this next one, these tend to fly out the door pretty quick too, which is Cullowen. And this is a single pot still Irish whiskey, which I need to grab the box so I know what it's made of. So this was a PX sherry finish. This one, we're beefing up our ABV. We've been in the 40s. Now we're going to 57.7% ABV. This is a 4-year-old release. Cullowens tend to sell out pretty quick, partially because he's only filling half-size casks. So when you don't produce as many bottles, I think his typical yield is 180 to 220 bottles. They tend to go a lot faster, and he does have a cult following. And I would know I'm leading the Cologne cult enthusiast group right now. How different are the Redbreast, Tawny Port, and PX Iberian? Mr. Mom 310, I can tell you, and I know Amy O'Byrne in here will also tell you, big fan of Redbreast PX. Absolutely flip and love it. I would pick it over Tawny Port every day that ends in Y. So it is, to me, it reminds me of one of those Terry's chocolate oranges at Christmas time. It's all chocolate orange. Donald, remind me if PX is the one where you kind of get almond cookies. I can't remember. But I absolutely love PX. It depends on what the price. What kind of price is the $45 difference? It's 150 here. I think it's kind of stretching it. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's worth 150 here, but I would pay 130 for it. I mean, I have paid 130 for it. I mean, for 150 US, you can get an 18-year-old Scotch that's leaps and bounds. Yeah, I completely agree, Donald. I mean, you're talking about an 18-year-old Scotch for $150 or a non-age stated Irish whiskey that's probably about 8 to 10 years old. They're getting a little bit, honestly, what they're doing is actually helping the smaller brands because the smaller brands are coming on. Oh, cheers, Henry Turner. Long-time viewer, first-time commenter. Love Redbreast, Cask Strength, and Red Spot. Love the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Cheers to you, Henry. Henry, I don't know if you've seen the Teeling just announced that they have partnered up with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's like they have that big game in Ireland and Dublin every year. They're going to be doing a Teeling small batch that has the Notre Dame Fighting Irish logo on it. So watch for that to come out. They just advertised it on their Instagram this past week. So if you're a big fan, I know you'll want that bottle. Yeah, what she said. Yeah, what she said. People in states that can have things shipped to them, you can save yourself about $30 on a Red Spot by picking it up at an Irish online retailer and having it shipped. And that, I think, is a very big problem when that is cheaper than the store around the house, around the corner from you, around your house. So I like Tawny, but PX and Missouri are definitely better. I would agree with that. I like that, but I can tell you my friend Michelle Davilar with Women of Whiskeys, she prefers the tawny port. It's funny, everything I like, she kind of likes the opposite. Because I know like the two stacks black strap rum is is lower on my list, and that was her top. So yes, you got almond cookies on the PX. I thought you got almond cookies on that one. Tawny Port and PX, $89. Oh my God, for $89, I would buy a case of PX. I would buy a freaking case of it. That's cheaper than any of them that I've picked up. Okay. Let me pull the card and see what this one is, because actually, if I could just use my phone, I could probably see. Because I've had enough sense to put the cards in backwards from now on so I can actually read them. All right, this one is made up of 8 sacks of malted barley, 4.5 sacks of unmalted barley, 1 sack of malted Maris otter barley, quarter sack oats, quarter sack wheat. So basically 9 sacks of it are malted barley, 4.5 unmalted barley, and only a half a sack are oats and wheat. So this does qualify as an official single pot still whiskey. This one is 4 years old. Now this one was done for a whiskey club that I'm in. So this one isn't available, but the cologne that's in the US, the white cognac finish, that's a single pot still, that is available. I know it's in Kentucky, it's in California, it's in New York, it's in Minnesota, might be in Chicago. So it's in a few US states. So one thing I get on the colognes is a bit of smoke, and it's actually from and I always mispronounce this, Maillard effect, from Brendan actually letting domestic yeast happen, like wild yeast. He's been known to roll them right outside and let just wild yeast happen on his whiskeys. And that one is what's happening here. This is also a natural color. So you can see the PX cask has made a really nice color. This one is 4 years old. A lot of spice. This one is super, super spicy. Can you tell me what a basic teeling profile is? I know teeling is malted barley and unmalted barley. Teeling is a brand I haven't gotten a huge into. Their small batch, that bottle I was telling you about, that one is their small batch is finished in rum casks. It's a 46% ABV. Some people think, like it. Some people don't. For $40, I don't mind it. Some of their whiskey, if you go into really the older bottles, is Coley sourced, and it's exceptional. I don't like their single pot still. Don't like it. Like, really don't like it. I went to a tasting, and that was the one I actually couldn't finish. Like, thank you, but yeah, no. It's a little rough for me. I don't think Donald's a fan either. Donald Branson here is also a huge Irish fan, extremely knowledgeable about Irish whiskey. I do like the Teeling single grain. I think that one is good. They've got their single barrels tend to be really good. We've got one in Ohio that is a virgin oak finish single malt, and that one is really good as well. So if you come across those single barrels, I think those are good to look at. They're typically reasonable, but yeah, it's god awful. It really is. It's not good. It's rough. It really is rough. Yeah, and I don't even think that's just an Irish drinker thing. I think it's tough. Yes, Wonders of Wood series. Outstanding. I've got the Portuguese oak one. Tire maturation has happened in a Portuguese oak cask. $99, 50% ABV. That's a really, really good bottle of teeling. I really like that one. A lot of spice, real leathery. I like that one. One of my favorite teeling is a single grain. Yeah, it's and I've had the older teeling, and the older teeling is really, really good. I've had the 32 year, I've had the 29 year, I've had the 30 year. The problem is my wallet doesn't like Those are more than my mortgage for a bottle. It's like over $3,000. So yeah, my husband, he's probably not on board with those, but so this one does come off a little bit. It's not peated. You don't get peat at all. You get smoke though, almost like a campfire, or really it's like burnt brown sugar. Like if you straight up burned the brown sugar in the pan, like straight up burned it. That's what it tastes like. It's really sweet, getting some caramely notes, getting a little bit of chocolatey notes, and then just a nice depth with that smoke. Really nice. Here's the thing about colognes, which, I'm massive cologne fan, but these are all cask strength. So you're getting a 57% whiskey. The one that is in the US, the white cognac finish, that one's over 60% ABV. So you're getting your money's worth. It is more expensive for the smaller bottles, but when you think it's a 60%, it's going to go farther. So you're getting your money's worth out of them. I think the use of the wine yeast in the pot still is the problem for them. Yeah, I kind of think so as well. Something they're doing in that distillation is just making it taste real funky. Yes, the coulis juice. The older teeling, when you start getting into the 20 plus year, that is from the old coulis distillery, and that is very good stuff. You can also get some coulis. Two Stacks has had a couple coulis releases. W. O'Connell Dahi is very good at getting some of the coulis whiskey for his releases. For Cullen's another one. For Cullen, great. That's a good brand. That is a good brand. You get a lot of really nice whiskey for the price. Currently in Ohio, we have a For Cullen 15 year. It's a single grain whiskey, and that one is a Madeira finish. That one is less than $70 a bottle, which I think is, for a 12-year-old Irish whiskey, that's crazy. I actually questioned the people from OHLQ when that price came out. I said, is this just checking? This can't be right. They're like, yeah, it's right. It is right. That's crazy. Oh, bye, Pizza Warlord. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Even the single, see, the finished single malts, I think, are good. I think when you get to where they're single casks and the ones that are cask strength, I think those, and it could just be the finishing masking some of it, but I've got some of those. I'm like the Virgin Oak in Ohio it is a good one. The straight single malt, I'm not a fan of. I just think there are better single malts out there for that price. You can't see it because it's right up there. The Liberator Tawny Port, it's a vatted malt. It's actually Coulis malt and Great Northern malt together. Like $60. It's great bottle. Their double port, same way. It's actually Tawny Port and Ruby Port cask. And that one is, I think, $50, $55. It much better buy than the Teeling, in my opinion. Two Stacks as well. Two Stacks has some single malts that are real reasonably priced. Hey, cheers, Gandy Road. Cheers. Yes, the For Cullen 15 is fantastic. I absolutely love that one. Oh, you have the For Cullen 14. For Cullen is just a great whiskey for the price. All right, so I'm going to match this up here. I'm telling you right now, this Redbreast is going to come off then. Yep. It's like water after this cologne. So much better. The cologne just has so much more depth to it, even on a 4-year-old whiskey. So I'm going to do a full review of the new Clonakilty this week. I do need to do a Lakeview Estate one here sometime soon. Look on the shelves. There are a lot more single pot still options out there available. So it's 7. Make sure you jump over and check out Kilco Whiskey Musings. He's going live at 7 o'clock. Tell him I sent you. Tell him I said hi. 9 o'clock, don't forget, is the Livewire Whiskey, the tribute to Fifth Quarter Tailgate to Scott. So make sure you jump over there and say hi and raise a glass. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I will see you all next week, and have a good rest of your Sunday. Sláinte, everybody.